everyone, and good afternoon. This is Archie Horton from Miria Systems. Welcome to our webinar. Before we get started, I wanted to go over a couple of items. If you have any questions or need any follow-up after the webinar, feel free to reach out to me via the contact information that you're going to see at the end of the presentation. Also, if you have any questions during the presentation, please use the chat feature in WebEx, and we'll address those questions at the end. Today we'll be talking about intelligent capture, what it is, and why Datacap is such a great solution. We're also going to have Heather. She's going to do a demonstration for you of the product, and I'll start off with some slides introducing intelligent capture and Datacap, as well as do a few customer examples. Again, Archie Horton. I'm a sales executive here at Miria Systems. Along with me today is Heather Rogers. Heather's run of our Datacap technical resources, and she's a FileNet for many years and has several years of experience with Datacap. Miria Systems has been a strategic IBM Premier Business Partner for 15 years and a Datacap partner for 6 years. Miria Systems has literally delivered over 100 solutions that help many different organizations with business processes. The industries that we've worked with are manufacturing, banking, insurance, energy, and government, all industries that are pretty paper-intensive, and we've helped them to automate a lot of their business processes. If you'd like more information on Miria Systems, please feel free to visit our website, where we have videos and demos on the site as well. Datacap is an IBM capture solution, and Miria is a Datacap partner prior to the IBM acquisition in 2010. IBM made a strategic decision to purchase Datacap to strengthen its leadership position within the EM space, and IBM has since totally integrated Datacap into its ECM, or Enterprise Content Management, portfolio. As the slide shows, Datacap is utilized in a wide variety of industries, and those industries are the same ones where we have expertise. IBM Datacap Taskmaster is designed to be able to operate in different environments, from centralized, departmental, or in a branch configuration. Both the thick and thin client, and that's the client that you would install on a PC, or a web client, which is the thin client, have the exact same functionality. The client is a web-based application that is easily deployed and is truly scalable, a scalable enterprise solution. A document from anywhere in the world can be scanned, verified, and then stored in a content repository or any other back-end solution you may have. It has extensive reporting capabilities. This is management because it allows the manager to see how many documents or batches a specific operator has processed. The differences between Datacap and its competitors is the user pricing. This is not a per image or per click charge. This is very attractive to a lot of customers that don't want to keep track of how many documents they've scanned, don't want to keep track of how many different servers they've got deployed. So our customers have found that this has been a pretty attractive feature for them. Enterprise Capture allows you to input from multiple sources, as you see on the slide. It accommodates paper, fax, email, and electronic documents. It offers many recognition methods, automated document ID, validations, and productivity features. Handling all the variability of document input and assuring accurate extraction, it delivers data and documents to all the other systems in your environment. Data Rule Runner service empowers customers to orchestrate the capture processes, pick and use OCR engines, releases, all without programming. This illustrates a typical capture process. We are taking documents that have been mailed, faxed, emailed in, or scanned, and importing them into the system for OCR, MR, and ICR capture and barcode recognition, as well as verification and processing. point, the document is also being de-skewed and cleaned up for easier viewing. Information and images that have been extracted can then be stored in a repository where it is easily retrieved. Now, discuss a couple of customer examples. What we have here is an investment company that processes online transactions. They look for a new distributed solution to replace their manual processes and also integrate with their Maximo system. The new solution that we implemented automated the supplier quote capture process from various locations and enabled central processing. It illustrates that process. It shows the multiple sources ingested into the Datacap system. It's being processed and then exported and then stored in Maximo. The second example is a healthcare organization in the northwestern U.S. It serves 500,000 residents, and it processes claims forms. So behind the scenes, when you to a medical facility, there's handling of claim forms that you typically don't see. Datacap Taskmaster helps process the claim forms, capturing all fields on the institutional forms along all of the associated attachments. It looks up diagnosis or CPT codes, handles the math calculations, and is HIPAA compliant. The new process allows for a much simpler claim payment process. By comparing captured data against a database, CPT codes can then be matched to the diagnosis code, the zip code, can match to the city, and so on. After the data has been verified, it is forwarded in a HIPAA-compliant 837 EDI format. The image is then uploaded and stored for retrieval by customer service representatives. Data Taskmaster medical claims capture is available in both the thin and thick client, which allows for local and remote scanning and verification. App is not only valuable to the business, but also to the IT department. With a broad-based client, nothing is installed on the desktop or client side. If changes are required, they are done through the server, and when a new employee is brought on board, permissions are set up and a password is created. All of the written documents from this went directly into the FileNet system. Here, the documents could trigger workflows from this point or just store the documents. It is totally dependent on the client and business processes that have been set up. Taskmaster for accounts payable is what we're going to spend the remainder of our time together talking about. It is used by organizations to help reduce or eliminate data entry and adequately calculate both line items as well as math calculations. Taskmaster accounts payable can work with ERP systems like SAP to do data lookups and auto-populate vendor names, address, PO numbers, and data types. The ownership to this process are sent to the auditor for review. The auditor will then verify the information and make any changes needed and then process the batch. Any exceptions are rerouted to management for review and change. Taskmaster Accounts Payable has reporting capabilities at the management level so that there is a clear picture where all invoices are within the process, as well as monitoring the output from each operator. How do customers achieve their return on investment goals? With its capture, you will reduce the cost of transportation by being able to scan remotely and reduce or eliminate the need to ship documents overnight or express. You can reduce labor costs by eliminating manual data entry and cost of document capture. Now only the exceptions are being handled instead of each line item or piece of data. In the case of medical claims, there are no errors on Social Security numbers, IDs, and such. So in addition to return on investment, they have now gained the added compliance solution. All of the documents are now centrally stored, and the timeline of documents was reduced from days to minutes. There's all savings when they are scanning. It takes much time to get the documents into the system. They no longer need to have barcodes scanned to separate documents, and documents do not need to be prepped. This can save an organization up to 50% in the cost capture. They have the ability to standardize on one vendor, allowing you to reduce license fees and maintenance costs and allow for additional volume-based pricing. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Heather, and Heather's going to take us through a demonstration of the solution.
Good afternoon, everyone. The demonstration we're going to be showing you today has been configured for accounts payable. I have a number of invoices all ready to be scanned in. Most business environments, invoices are scanned in to Taskmaster client using a scanner. For the purpose of this demonstration, we are going to be using the virtual scan, which is used to scan invoices from the electronic source. This is a screen that users will see when they first log in. It's the Taskmaster client application. You can see the window is divided into two panels, the operations window and the job monitor. The operations window displays various icons. Depending on the processor's access rights, they may only see the verify or scan. The monitor window displays batches that have already been scanned into Taskmaster and shows they are in the process. Scan, where documents are captured and cleaned. Batch profiler, where the OCR engine extracts data from the document. And verify, where the processor confirms and corrects the OCR process. And finally, export, where extracted data and images are interfaced with another system. And see, there are batches displayed in a variety of steps in the process. For example, there's a batch that's on hold. This means there may have been a question regarding an invoice in that batch, and the processor has put the batch on hold until the question has been resolved. And here you can see a batch that's been waiting to be verified by the processor. This window is able to be filtered by status or user. This is extremely useful for managing scanning from multiple locations or for multiple processors. I'm going to show you the filter now. Put this button up here, and if I click on it, you can see that I can filter by various stuff. So if I just want to see all the verified jobs, I'm going to click on verify and click on OK. You'll see all that's left in the job monitor screen now is all the batches in the verify process. If I want to go back, show all, I can just back to task and click on show all and OK. And now all the other jobs are displayed. You can also sort by column by just double clicking on each column. So I can just double click on the status and it brings everything back into a nice order for me. The steps in Datacap can be completely automated, but the verify steps requires human interaction. This is where we're going to focus much of our demo. Let's take a look at the verify screen. So this is the verify screen. You can see that it's divided into two panes. This is the image viewer pane, and this is where the data entry and the cap data is displayed. In the right pane, you'll notice that the invoice is displayed. This is a cleaned up image. You'll notice that there are no lines on this invoice. This is because during the scanning process, Datacap performs an enhancement on each invoice, which includes de-skewing, which straightens up any crooked invoices that have been scanned in, decoupling, which is any white noise or dots from the invoice. It also removes lines. All of these actions improve the recognition rate of the OCR engine. If I just like to show you this, if I click on the TIO button here, this is the actual image that was scanned in before it was cleaned up in the lines that are on there. Okay? Let's look at this left pane over here. This part of the screen is fully customizable. In the left pane, we can configure the fields to display the data and enable editing by the user. The OCR engine extracts snippets of data from the invoice. This pane is actually divided into two halves. The top half shows the header information, how many invoices are in the batch, and the page is the invoice. The lower half displays the more details. Now, on the screen, you notice that there are different coloured fields. I'll explain them to you. Blue means that the contents have passed validation and that the information in the field has been read with 100% accuracy. If data has not been read with 100% accuracy, the field will be yellow. This means there's something in question with the field. You can see at this point, this field quantity is in yellow and it's highlighted because the OCR engine is not sure whether this is indeed a number 1 or it's an L or it could be a 7, so that's why it's been highlighted. If the field is in pink, it means that there is an error on the field. For example, Taskmaster may not have been able to read the data on the invoice, or a reset validation rule has failed. For example, the data in the date field may not be a valid date, and I'm going to show you an example of this in a few moments. These fields are able to be modified by the processor if required. A batch field is an image called a snippet, and this is a cut and paste from the invoice image where data was captured. If I click on the invoice date field, you'll see that the dates have been highlighted on the invoice. This the processor locates the data if it's unclear. All the field locations are stored automatically, so the next time an invoice comes in for this vendor, Datacap will remember it. The next time an invoice comes in for the vendor, the information is not in exactly the same place. The processor can use the clear and key functionality to locate the new location of the field. I'm just going to demonstrate this to you. I'm going to delete the purchase order number here. And so the field is empty. I'm going to find the purchase order number is on the invoice and click on it, and you see that the purchase order number field has been populated. Go ahead and process this invoice now. On the top half of the screen, as I said, there's the header information. So we have the company name, the written zip, and the vendor number. It's the combination of the OCR data plus a lookup to your vendor database that's used to determine the vendor ID. If vendor does not exist in the database, the field will display in pink, and the user is either able to delete this invoice completely out of the batch and continue processing the other invoices that are within it, or what they can do is put it on hold and then wait till information has been verified in the system, and then continue with the batch like we showed at the beginning. On invoice, you can see that the vendor name has been found, but there may be some instances where the vendor has multiple accounts and you need to select the correct location that's on the invoice. So if we click on the lookup vendor, you can see that this vendor has 2 different accounts, 2 different zip codes. I'm going to select the one that's on the invoice. I'd just like to just point out here that in real life this wouldn't be necessary because Datacap would have found the correct vendor. For half of the screen, you can see that the field is in yellow. If I press a hotkey, which is Alt and L, I go straight to this low confidence field. So if I just press Alt-L again, it will take me to the character that needs to be corrected. I can see by looking at the snippet that the information from the invoice has been captured, and again, it's number 1, it's not too sure. So the processor can either just type in the number 1, or if the information is correct, you can just out the field, and you can see that the field has now turned blue, which means that the information has been validated. We also perform mathematical calculations for each line item by multiplying quantities by the price to make sure that the line total is correct. If for some reason this was not correct, the line total would be highlighted in red and have to be corrected. To check if there's any other problems on this invoice, I'm going to press the Alt and L key again. And it's me to the number 1, that's fine. I can tab out of that. I'll press Alt and L again, and it's taking me to the end of the page to go see the other invoice. You can see that we've now moved on to the next invoice in our batch. We're now on document number 2. You can see that SAP has taken the processor straight to the first low confidence field, and it like the look of the number sign, so we can just delete that and tab out of the field. It's gone. If I put an L again, there's no other low confidence field, no other validations that are incorrect, so we can move on to the next invoice. Our first sync box. This box shows an error. Note that the error is on the toolbar at the bottom of the screen. Because it says invoice date is not valid. Okay, and the reason why this date's not valid is because 2009 was not a leap year. So if you not change this field and try to move forward, I'm going to get an error message, and I just want to demonstrate that to you. Because the validation has failed, and there must be a valid date and not a future date. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change the date to make it a valid date. Let's assume here that the shipping amount is incorrect. So I'm going to change this number from 129 to 128 and on. I can see that the validation has failed and the relevant boxes have turned red. This shows that Datacap does the calculation for you, and because the numbers do not match up on the page, we were not able to move forward. So if I just change the number back, I can forward. Now to our fourth invoice out of our batch, and you can see that straight away we go down to our first low confidence field. It's not too sure about the dash in between trucking and tickets, but we know that this is correct, so we can just tab out of it. And there's no other problems with this invoice, so we can buy. Now we're on the last invoice of the batch. Now this is an example of an invoice for a vendor that Datacap has not seen before. Some of the fields have been captured, but there are no details. Let's begin by finding the vendor. If I type in F in the field and look up the vendor, you'll see there's a variety of vendors starting with F, but I'm going to choose the correct one, which is just at the bottom here. I select the vendor. Notice that the vendor name, zip, and number has been populated. I use the clicking key functionality again to locate any data, for example, the PO number. So click in the PO number and move over to the PO number on the invoice. The PO number is calculated. Lines on this invoice, but there, as you can see, there are lines on the invoice image. So to add lines, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to first press add line. And click on each field. So item ID, click over, the quantity, the item description, okay, price, and total. All the details for the line 1, I'm going to use this button down here called Find Details. Note at the moment I only have line 1 up, but now if I click on Find Details, I'm going to search and populate all of the lines on the invoice. You can see that I've collected all the data from the invoice without a single keystroke. Can you notice here now I have 23 lines. To view the details of any of the lines, I can click on the View Details button here. In this box, it will show you all the lines on the invoice, so I can double-click on any of the lines and it will take me to the individual line that I'm interested in. Or you can use the Previous and the Next button to navigate through the different lines. So ready to move on, so I'm just going to press my next button, and no more problems have been found, and I'm going to finish the batch. Today I've demonstrated the various ways in which a user can interact with the data extracted from the invoice. It's very important to stress that the verified step only operates on an exception basis. If data meets all the confidence thresholds and passes all validations, Datacap can pass these invoices directly to the export step without the need for any processor intervention. Thank you very much. This concludes my Datacap demonstration.
I've got just a couple more slides to go through. There's a couple of different offerings, quick starts, if you will. First, our Datacap Quick Start program. We use our specifically designed project methodology from our years of experience of deploying Datacap solutions to reduce risk and speed of deployment. What we've done is leverage a lot of best practices to put together a fixed price implementation that will save time and money by leveraging most of the pre-configured rules that are applicable to most clients. This Quick Start program can be applicable to accounts payable, accounts receivable, human resources, and any high-volume form processing. The other offering that we have is called Miria Datacap Assessment, and this is more of an analysis slash assessment kind of engagement where we come in and we leverage our project methodology to assure the document capture solution will deliver the results you want and need. So we'll spend time with you doing an assessment, help you define requirements, risks, limitations, and define the return on investment of different document capture options. We'll focus on your business requirements and the desired outcome, and it's not specific to any document capture technology. This is normally a 2 to 3 week project for a fixed price and fixed scope. That concludes our Datacap webinar. If you have any questions, contact information is on the screen. We would love to talk to you. learn more about business processes, and see how Miria Systems can help automate some of your business processes. Thank you.